Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. The best/worst day of the week. Because
Right.
it's when everybody has to start going back to work or school or whatnot after the snow days. So, we're here tonight on the Spectral Sailor, me and Jason, and we have our friend Tim. Is it Coomer or Cummer?
Cummer.
Okay, because
Cummer.
I was like, I always say Coomer, but I'm like, because it's a
Yeah.
K. So I didn't
Yeah.
know, and I was like, I'm probably butchering that, so I'm just going to ask. It's
It's all
better to
good.
just ask when in
It's all
doubt.
good. I've dealt with that all my life. Coomer, Mr. Coomer, are you here?
Yeah, or Cumor,
So,
Cumor.
right. Exactly. So, it's all good.
Yeah, well, okay. Now I know the mystery has been solved. Yay.
Yep. Yep.
um, so he's going to, hey, Brian and Penny, how's everybody doing that's watching? And everybody on YouTube, feel free to comment also. Sometimes we get some YouTubers, and I really like to get new YouTube followers because I do not have very many. I have like 40 something. So follow the
You got to
YouTube
start somewhere.
page. Yeah, watch the show.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
back in March, I had like 3 followers. So, woo! Almost a
Right.
year later, I've got almost 50.
Yeah.
I don't push it a lot though. Hey, Joanne. So,
Yeah. I watch you
go
guys
ahead.
on Facebook. I'm not much of a YouTube person, but yeah, I always try to keep up with you guys on Facebook and your podcast through Facebook. Myself.
Awesome.
That's my
Yeah, we
personal
have some
preference.
people that tell us that they don't even like do YouTube. I mean, they don't even do Facebook. They just do YouTube. So, it's
Yeah,
like it's a good outlet, I guess, to catch those people that are more YouTube uh,
for sure. For
users
sure.
than Facebook. I mean, sometimes I get
Yeah.
tired of Facebook and I sometimes just
Oh
want to
yeah.
delete it. I just can't.
Right. Right.
Hey, Kyle. So, why don't you tell us? I have a bunch of questions written down, so I may not ask them in any certain order. But
Okay.
you were talking about like grabbing stuff to eat or whatever, and this is random. It has nothing to do with paranormal very
Mhm.
much. But hey, Stuart, what is y'all's favorite kind of food or places to stop by? Because when you're on the road a lot, you want to
Right.
have good food. You don't want to just have Taco Bell and McDonald's all the time because it gets old
Oh
and you can
no,
have that
for
anywhere.
sure.
What is y'all's favorite like thing to eat or like places to stop if they're not even restaurants, just any place like a touristy stop when you're on the
Right.
road?
Well, we like the little mom and pop restaurants, little country home style cooking, little restaurants in the middle of these little towns. We enjoy those, just to have a more of a home cooked meal rather than a cheeseburger from McDonald's or something. And most time these little restaurants got the best little food you wouldn't imagine. This little bitty restaurant in the middle of nowhere has got some of the tastiest food that you've ever had. Out of like grandma's kitchen or something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as that, I'm big into mobsters and gangsters. So normally when I travel, I try to incorporate something with mobsters and gangsters in my travel. I try to stop by, you know, an old hangout of a mobster or gangster, depending on where I'm at. Um, I don't know if you guys know about Find a Grave or not. I'm big on paying respects to, different people, whether it's sports players, baseball players, uh,
Mm-hmm.
artists, musical people, like Johnny Cash, Babe Ruth. I'll
Yeah.
always try to stop by graveyards on my way to a destination to pay my respects to whoever may be in that particular area. That's big for me. I love to do that. Other than that, just anything other historical that we could, fit in on the way, something cool to go check out or whatever. We try to do whatever we can with what time we have. So
I like.
that's
I'm
it.
gonna look up Find a Grave. I haven't actually heard of that, but we do start by a lot of cemeteries and stuff, especially if like we've heard
And
anything about the places or someone being buried there.
yeah, and it's great because it covers the whole world. And then if you go to, let's say, your state, it'll tell you every famous person. Well, it goes by like very famous, somewhat famous, and then whoever else is listed on there. But it'll tell you whoever's buried in your state, and it's pretty cool because, like I said, it goes all over the world, not just United States. It's in different countries, and it's very accurate. It'll give you the section that they're in, what cemetery they're in, their plot number, all that stuff. And
That's
I've been to
interesting.
probably I've probably been to 100 graves over the last 5 years throughout the United States, just using that website alone.
That's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah,
of respects you've been paying.
Hey, I try. I
That's
try.
good. That's a neat. That's neat. That's very neat. So,
That's pretty.
why don't you tell everybody like what's your paranormal team name or where you're from, where you guys live at, and
Okay. Uh,
all that good stuff.
well, I'm with Riverbend Paranormal, Indiana. We're the sister team of Alton, Illinois, Riverbend. Um, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and most of my teammates are either in Indianapolis or in the surrounding area. Uh, but we've been with Riverbend a little over a year now. I think it's been a little over a year since we joined up with them.
That's funny. You said
Kyle.
that's a good way to learn equipment. That's what I do is go play in cemeteries. And I know some people think that's disrespectful, but I don't do it in a disrespectful way. I always say, "Hey, do we have your permission to be here? And is there anyone that wants to come forth that wants to,
Right.
like talk to us or that has a message that they just need to release or something they need to say?" So we're
For
like
sure.
really respectful about that stuff. We don't walk on
Yeah.
graves. I don't even walk on somebody's grave. I walk behind them, and I'm really,
Exactly.
really tedious about it and like careful.
Yes, it's all about respect when you're in a cemetery, for sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because you definitely
That,
want someone to respect your gravesite when you pass away. So,
yeah, for sure. I'm haunting somebody for sure. They, disrespecting my grave. I'm coming to haunt your ass.
We have a we have a lot of that kind of thing around here. We were talking about the gangsters and outlaws, all that stuff. Um,
Arkansas.
now
Oh
we
yeah.
have
Okay.
Hmm.
we have Pretty Boy Floyd's just buried just right north of where I'm at. Um,
Oh well. See,
you know,
now you're
he
talking
was
my
a
language,
gangster.
brother.
Yeah, he was a gangster and with Dillinger and all those guys.
Hmm.
And then
The museum,
there's Hot Springs where Al
Lobster
Capone
Museum.
Al Capone was all the time. And that's not too far from us. Um,
Damn.
Jesse James came through here all the time. One of his big hideouts is just right south of us in Wilburton.
Right.
Um, and then we had the Bonnie and Clyde robbed a bank in Podo, which is right down the road from us too. So,
Oh wow. See. So you gonna have to just write me a list, Jason, of places to hit while I'm there
Uh-huh.
in town, brother, for sure. Because
Too bad
you
you
got the
won't be in
411.
Arkansas.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Some grave sites for you to look for, look
Oh
at,
yeah.
and check out. Yeah. And
Yeah, for
Indians, we got
sure.
the cowboys and the Indians and the outlaws and the gangsters. So all of them in one place.
That's what's up.
yeah, good
Best,
stuff.
Um,
best of all worlds.
what is y'all's favorite location that you've ever been to, or your favorite experience that you've ever had at a location, and your worst experience you've ever had at a location?
Um, all right. I don't like talking about Bobby Mackey's like this, but I've been to Bobby Mackey's a few times, and the first one was there when I did my first little challenge down there, right next to the portal. I was super pumped, super ready to do it, thinking this is gonna be the big one. It's gonna be crazy down here. I'm all hyped up, thinking shit's gonna go flying, and cameras are gonna be picking up things and this and that. And I sat in that basement for 45 minutes next to the portal and nothing happened at all. It was
Oh, man.
very, very disappointing. I've got to say, as far as hype level, as far as me anticipating something really cool to happen, that was the worst disappointment for me so far.
That stinks
As,
if you sit there that long. Yeah.
yeah, as far as other locations, I have a couple that I'm really fond of here in Indiana. Crown Point Jail being one of them, up in Crown Point, Indiana, where Dillinger escaped from back in 1934.
Mm.
And this new one out here, the Indiana State Sanatorium, has been so surprisingly just active as hell the few times that I've been there. And I got to say, out of 50 locations I went to last year, that was the most active one out of them all. I
Mhm.
mean, from disembodied voices, shadows. We were on the third floor, me and a few other people, and it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and the floor above us just came alive. I mean, there was footsteps, doors closing, uh, things being moved around, and we all just paused, like, "Hey, are you hearing this up there?" And immediately I went up there, and there's nothing up there whatsoever. There's nobody up there. If it was an animal of some kind, it would have had to been like a stock of deers or something running down the hallway. I mean, it blew my mind to this day. I can't explain what all those noises were coming from above us because it was it was almost like they were getting up and ready for their day, like their morning routine, getting up, making their beds, getting dressed. It sounded like people were just running around everywhere. They're doing a little bit of everything. And as soon as we went up there was nothing to be found whatsoever. And it just so happened to be the same floor when Destination Fear was there. They caught that figure with the thermal camera on that fourth floor. So it was the same floor they caught all their activity on.
Yeah.
Is where we were catching all this noise and stuff up right above us. So it's a pretty awesome place. If you guys get a chance, you got to check it out. It's been pretty good so far.
That was a sanatorium?
Yeah, Indiana State Sanatorium. It's in Rockville, Indiana.
Ron said, if anyone thinks it's disrespectful to do anything in a cemetery, then they're misinformed or uninformed. We have investigated cemeteries and graveyards numerous times and frequently stand the flags back up. Yeah, we do like to do stuff like that, or wipe the headstones off because they're like completely covered up so badly that you can't even tell who's there, And I'll like try to like wipe them off or clean them off so at least you can see who's there. Because what if their family, doesn't get out there often or they don't have anyone? That still doesn't mean they shouldn't be, known who they are. Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah, we did it. We're always there in a respectful way, like every time, So.
Gotta be.
And I visit a lot of cemeteries anyways because I visit my loved ones at the cemeteries they're at, and then I just get curious and walk around kind of and look at the other headstones and see who's there.
And then the holidays come around, you go out and decorate, put little trees up and some, little cool Christmas stuff on their grave sites. We put trees and light them up on Christmas Eve every year at my father-in-law's and a couple other people around here. So
that's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's we also go to cemeteries that have legends behind them, to do our to investigate, to check them out, to just in curiosity, and we've been to witches' graves. There's all kinds of cool places to go like that. Obviously like New Orleans is a big one.
Yeah, St. Louis Cemetery. I've been down there. I was there in 2019. That's one of the most beautiful older cemeteries I've ever been to, man. That one and Mount Carmel in Chicago, Illinois are probably my two favorite cemeteries I've ever been to. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
And so much rich history. I think, Mount Carmel. Well, there's because of the mausoleums. They have some beautiful mausoleums. Plus, just about every gangster that was ever in Chicago is buried there. And my favorite one, Al Capone's buried in that cemetery. So anytime I'm in Chicago, I always stop by there. Hey, my respects to Al. I smoke a cigar with him. I remember years ago, me and my kids sat down and had a picnic lunch there at his gravesite years ago when my kids were younger. So
I wonder if that's where the St. Valentine's murder victims are buried.
I don't know. I've actually been to the area where that garage used to be at. It's no longer there. They turned it into a parking lot. But I don't know if they're buried in that cemetery or not. But there's a lot of.
Look them up.
Yeah, they could be. Maybe a couple of them. Who knows?
If I go out that way, I want to see their graves. I want to see their sites.
It's also interesting too, like what you just said too, is going out to their grave and having a picnic and stuff. Actually, that was a thing back in the day. People, that's what they did.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph.
It's all about spending time with your loved ones, man. You gotta not forget them. That's how I am anyway. And when people do these little things on Facebook, what's your worst fear? And I always tell everybody, being forgotten. When I'm gone, don't forget me. Come visit me. Come sit down and have a sandwich. Do something. Come see me. Don't forget about me. Keep my memory alive.
Pour out a little whiskey on me.
Right? Something.
Anything. Right.
What's Kyle saying?
Need to go to Chicago to the Lady in White Cemetery that wanders the street on Archer Avenue.
Yeah. See this guy Kyle, man. I I've done a couple investigations with him over the last 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy's just phenomenal as an investigator, man. He's a little newer in the field, but this guy is on his P's and Q's. He's buying all the right equipment. Is getting very knowledgeable what's going on. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say I've been mentoring him, but he's a great guy to work with. You guys ever get a chance, you got to meet up with Kyle, and he's so ready to put in work. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to hit these different locations and check them out. I mean, it's like every other day he's calling me, "Hey, T-Dog, I got this investigation booked. You gonna be ready in April or July?" Or, you know, he's got 13 investigations planned out for us already this year.
Dang.
And it's only February, and he's got 13 booked already. Not
That's
just looking at
awesome.
him, he's got 13 booked already.
That's what's good to have them newbies, because they have that fire. You know what I mean? Like, they're so curious. They want to get into these places because they haven't already seen that, and they haven't already been there and done that yet. So they're just curious to get into all those places.
Him and his girlfriend Jen are wonderful people. You know, they're great people, and I enjoy working with them. They're great. They're great at what they do. They're good.
And yes, Johnny, that is what we were talking about. Sunday on Hey Boo, we're going to do a show on the 13th. It's the day before Valentine's Day. And I was like, hey, guys, why don't we talk about Valentine's Day murders? Because there are so many Valentine's Day murders. Besides the St. Valentine's Day murder, there are tons of them. I could say at least 30 I've found already, that people that were killed, or they're called the Valentine's Day murder.
Unfortunately, my brother-in-law took his life on Valentine's Day back in 2001.
Oh.
So yeah, Valentine's Day has a different effect on a lot of people. Some good, some bad. We haven't celebrated a Valentine's Day between me and the wife since then, but we still make sure the kids get, you know, a little Valentine stuff for the kids. But
little chocolates or like little hearts or balloons or something.
Right. Yeah. You know, just with the kids, happy, whatever. You know.
Ryan said when you pass away, he's going to come have a glass of bourbon and a cigar with you.
That's what's up, brother.
That sounds great. I would take some wine and a cigar.
All right.
Yeah, I have a beer. I'm good.
You're gonna see me while I'm alive. I can't remember. I need my bones. If I can't remember, I need my bones. Where do you live at, Sam?
Yeah. So when's the last time we saw you? Was that the moon coming in?
I think it was in Alton.
Yeah.
Or not in Alton, that little town outside of Alton for the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the last time. Yeah. I think that was last July, maybe August. I don't remember.
Have they ever even? And when we were at the theater, I thought this place has got to be haunted. I just feel the vibes. It's got to be haunted.
They say it is, but I've never investigated. I don't know if Brian and the rest of the team have been there to investigate, but I've never investigated there.
I was curious to know if anybody's ever asked to do that there, because it just seemed very, very that feeling that you just get when you know a place is. And I just was like, man, we should totally just bust out some equipment after this premiere and do an investigation while we're here.
Cool.
But
if you could,
that theater was awesome. So it was just
it was pretty neat, man. I enjoyed it. Good times.
Resurrection Mary in Chicago.
Everybody should go watch the Sleepless Unrest if you haven't seen it yet. What's it?
What's that?
Yes.
I said everybody should go watch the Sleepless Unrest if they haven't watched it yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a great show, man. Great show. They did a wonderful documentary on the Conjuring House.
Oh my gosh, I would love to go to New Zealand. You send me a plane ticket, girl, I'm there. That's on the top of my bucket list. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to get overseas to some of these different countries and do some investigating.
Yeah.
Canada. Hey, Donna from Canada. And
hello.
Sam lives in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah, we have some stuff. We don't have 13 investigations booked yet, but we got some stuff booked for this year. And we got some Paracons and stuff that we're going to be at, and we're moving along too. But nothing like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's just what he's got booked. That doesn't include what me and my team is doing, or me
Yeah.
personally, or other invites, or anything with Brian Rochelle and all that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy year right now. We're just getting bombarded with invites and this and that, and trying to schedule everything in. And but I'm gonna try to do as much as I can anyway. I think last year I did damn near close to 50 investigations. I think it's probably about 47 investigations last year. But I spent a lot of time on the road, and I had a lot of
Yeah.
friends and family yelling at me for not being home. Well, you need to come home.
Right.
You
That's
missed
why
you missed the
it's
cook. You missed the cookout. You missed this. You missed the
it's good that
the
you got
get
snowed in for a little bit then, I guess, because they
yeah,
can,
exactly. Yeah. So
talk
I'm
to you more.
definitely enjoying it. Definitely enjoying the time
Take
at home.
advantage of being snowed in
Mm-hmm.
and
Nice to
and
have a break.
holidays. Yeah. Um,
Yes, most definitely.
would you or have you ever played a Ouija board at a location?
Um, I haven't played with the Ouija board since I was a teenager, to be honest with you. I mean, everybody's got their different opinions on them. I played one with one when I was a teenager, but I haven't really messed with one since. And I guess I wouldn't mind if that was what's someone else wanted to do. I mean, me and my team, we don't really mess with Ouija boards, but if someone else were to ask, I'd participate, I guess, just to see, what kind of action, what would happen from it. But
Did you ever have
I'm
anything
not
weird
a
happen when you played with one before when you were a teenager?
when I was a teenager, I remember being able to play with the Ouija, do it by myself, and it would work when I did it by myself.
Yeah.
I could sit in a dark room, candle lit, whatever, and ask questions, and it would move by itself.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, nothing extreme like things flying around or the board flying up or nothing crazy like that.
He said he'd like to interview. Kyle said, "I'd like to interview people overseas that have had an exorcism done." No kidding. If they'd
Yeah,
want to
that'd be
talk
good.
about it or revisit that experience, because I feel like most
Right.
people probably either weren't coherent or they probably were traumatized about it and they might not actually want to talk about it. If there were
Yeah.
any witnesses, that'd be interesting to talk to them.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
playing the Ouija
definitely.
board as long as you're not getting, Captain Howdy or Zozo. you know.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's been, a long time ago, but I don't remember anything like really crazy or creeping coming through. Just some general responses to questions, yes, no, a name here and there, but I don't think I ever contacted anything evil by no means.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
supposedly talked to Harry Houdini, so that's pretty cool if it was him.
right. Oh
It
well,
made
yeah, that's
something move. Yeah,
right.
when we were talking to
Right.
Harry Houdini
Yeah.
when
But
we were younger.
anymore, my thought on Ouija boards, unless it's something old from 100 years ago, these newer Ouija boards, the kind you buy at Walmart, that are made by Parker Brothers, I don't give
Yeah,
those much credibility at all. Now, if it's something that's an antique Ouija board made from sometime in a witch trial area, or old, I give them a little more credibility than I do these modern ones that you can just pick up at the Walmart. I don't know how I really feel about those. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think that they look more awesome, like an authentically homemade. I've seen one. My sister had one where someone actually
yes,
gets a piece of wood and they craft you an actual spirit board.
of
Like
course,
some of them don't even
yes,
call them Ouija board; they call them like a spirit portal or a spirit board or whatever. Those look a lot neater, and I do feel like they would have a different kind of experience with one of those than
exactly,
with the
yeah,
little cardboard piece of paper,
Yeah.
like with not
right,
paper, but the
exactly, and
cardboard thing. But
that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Hey, Chrissy, how you doing?
I think it would hold. Those would hold probably more energy, more type of energy.
yeah, because they're
Right,
well, also they're wood. They're actually made from the earth.
right, exactly.
Um. Yes. I mean, I have before. It was way before. It was way before.
Many places.
Yeah, it was way before Not Terror Collective. But I was with it.
Investigated
I went
anywhere.
with a group one time at this place called Beaver Gap. It's not too far from us in the Indian Cemetery, and it was pretty crazy there.
I
Um,
bet. I bet.
but as long as you go
Yeah.
in like respectfully.
Right. Yeah, Ryan,
pretty
I've
much anywhere
investigated
here.
a few places with Native American history. There's a couple places out here in Indiana, down further up north that we've done. I was gonna say Gettysburg, but Gettysburg's more Civil War stuff than it is Native. But yeah, I have, and I've investigated up in or lower state New York and Long Island at Mountain Misery, and there's a lot of Indian history up there on that hill up there. So pretty crazy. Actually, I'm still part of it on going investigation with Trinity Paranormal at that location. We'll be going back up there again this year, but they go there quite frequently. Kat and Courtney and Chris and all them. So,
And then,
Yeah.
for sure.
didn't you go to the one for the Choctaws? I didn't go there, but can you go there?
Where at?
You're talking about him?
No, you.
Have I been to what for the Choctaws?
You went to one of their cemeteries, right? Didn't you go?
I've been to a lot of different cemeteries around here that was Native American, and then that church and schoolhouse that my grandmother went to school at. And then there's a cemetery that was right up the road that had a lot of Native American people built or buried there, not built there, people being built there, but they had people buried there, and like pretty much half of that cemetery is like my family, and like the other half of it is there's a lot of Native American people buried there. Um, I was wanting us to try to go to Sequoia's home or the Spiral Mounds and do an investigation this year. I've really been like hitting on those two locations because those have a lot of Native American history, but those are the only places. Pretty much anywhere that you go in Oklahoma. Tahlequah, I go there often. I have a friend that lives there, and there are a lot of places there. Um, Nearby them, and they'll tell you about Bigfoot sightings, and they'll tell you about Native American folklore, Native American spirits, and stuff like that. In Stillwell and Tahlequah, those are two of the bigger areas besides Broken Bow. That's a
Broken
big
Bow.
hot spot for Native American activity. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
I
you
was
guys got some
thinking,
cool stuff out that way.
oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of places around here. It's pretty rich and that kind of thing.
the
But,
Choctaw
Yeah, I got some.
Cemetery you're talking about is the one I went to with Sean.
yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you went and
yeah.
someone then over by like Scullyville Cemetery or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How far are you guys away from Edmond, Oklahoma? I think it's
About
called
3 hours.
Edmond.
Yeah, it's about
I
OKC.
got some friends that live out in Edmond.
Yeah, I used to live right by there for
Oh,
quite a
yeah.
while. But yeah, about 3 hours away from where we're at now. 2.5, 3 hours, depends on how fast you drive.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that way. I don't know.
So,
Like I said, I would love to get Papa Legba on EVP while investigating New Orleans. You need to get with Howard then, because I know that like he has been visited by Papa Legba in his home, and I know that he has pretty good connections with Voodoo Authentica, and there's I don't know if you call him like a lord or a priestess or a priest there, a druid, a druid something, like, but there's a person that does the same thing Papa Legba was, and he also is at the same level of, I'd call it priesthood, but I don't know what they call it, for voodoo. There's a guy there that would be really awesome for if you'll ever go to New Orleans and talk to.
yeah, I need to get back down there.
His name is Balthazar.
We need to go down there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
That's cool.
It's a different world down there in New Orleans, brother. I'm telling you, it's totally different. Within the city, and the outskirts of Myrtle's. We went to Myrtle's Plantation. It was beautiful. Really can't investigate there worth of shit because the place is always packed. I mean,
Yeah.
the main house, and then they have cabins on the backside of the property, and it's always. I mean, during the busy time of the year, it's always packed. So you could be investigating in the main house, and back there in the cabins behind on the backside of the property, everybody's getting shit faced drunk and hooting and hollering, and it's just like it's hard to even really investigate with all the noise contamination going on around there. But
Everybody says the same thing about that place. Yeah.
what's that?
I said
What do I
everybody
think
says
about it?
Yeah, no, I said everybody says the same thing about that place.
Yeah. But it is a beautiful old old, you know, plantation home. I guess it is beautiful. The property itself and everything about it is the drive up from the street to it. All the what is it? The willow weeping trees or whatever kind of trees they got out there. The big
Weeping
moss
willow
trees.
trees. Yeah, those
Yeah,
really neat
they're
looking trees. They look creepy.
yeah, they're beautiful driving up to the property and seeing it, and then you see the front of it with the big porch that stretches across the whole thing. It's
Hmm.
it's 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 pretty fantastic. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't know how hard it is. I mean, to get an investigation there, but I know that from the group that Howard's in, that Gabe sent me several videos, like 4 different videos or 5 different
Hmm.
videos of different paranormal activity that they experienced there. Like you could see
Yeah,
stuff
I
happen.
remember when. Yeah, I remember when they all went down there. Him, Gabe, Angie, and a couple other people. When they were all together, they were there at the Myrtles. I remember that.
Yeah, they slept there, and there was stuff happening while they were asleep, and all kinds of cool
Right?
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to go.
You
Hell's Gateway. There's so many places called that. I was
exactly.
reading
I
about
was
one
gonna
the other
say.
day in another country.
Yeah, they're just almost as popular as the crybaby bridges they have all across
I
America.
know.
Hell's
There's
Gates,
2 of them in
crybaby bridges.
Oklahoma. One of
Right.
them's removed and rebuilt. What do you call it? Like twice removed.
Hmm.
um,
Yep.
how did you get into the paranormal, Tim?
I guess it started right around 19, 20 years old. I always grew up having people tell me about their personal experiences. That they seen this or seen that, and I was kind of envious of them. I was like, that sounds pretty crazy, but cool at the same time. I'd like to experience something like that for myself, or at least further look into it to see what's out there, I guess. So that's kind of what got us started. Me and my brother used to go around to these abandoned places, cemeteries, factories, whatever, it would be. And we started just investigating, and I've been doing it kind of ever since, We slowed down for a few years, and then over the last 4 or 5 years, we just got really serious because I guess within the last 4 or 5 years is when I really start opening up all these bigger locations, So that became a new trend. So then we kind of started
Yeah,
hitting all these big locations really hard, and it's been hitting it hard ever since. But we still keep it old school and do the little locations where nobody knows about, our secret little locations or secret little
Mhm.
cemeteries or whatever. So we still do them. But it was more or less because the only ever thing I ever happened as a kid, I remember being about 5 or 6 years old, and I have a twin brother, and we slept on bunk beds. I slept on the top bunk, and I remember waking up one night, middle of the night, underneath the bunk bed, screaming because it was almost like something was trying to pull me or keep me underneath the bunk bed. And I remember
yeah,
trying to scream, but nothing was coming out that I could hear. And within, I don't know, a matter of seconds or something, I don't remember how long it was, but I remember seeing my bedroom door open and my dad walking in and the hallway light being on. And he came and got me from underneath the bed and put me back in bed, asked me, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't, I ain't know how to explain it. I'm 5, 6 years old. I don't know how to explain it, but he put me back in bed. That was the only real experience I ever had as a kid. Whether you want to call it an experience or just a crazy, messed up dream, I don't know how to describe it. Um, but other than that, it was just more curiosity from hearing from other people about their stories and the things they've experienced that really got me into it. I just like, it just that wow factor, like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I want to, try to have some experiences and, you know, check the paranormal out for myself, and been just kind of doing it ever since.
have you met a lot of twins?
Have I met a lot of twins?
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, I have.
Have you ever
Yeah.
have you noticed? I've noticed, and you saying that just like really like made me think about it. Have you noticed twins having more strange or odd or paranormal experiences than regular people that are not a twin?
I can't really say that I have. I know my twin brother joined me when we went up to the Hensdale house last year in Wildwood Sanitarium.
Hmm.
And I did notice that when he was with me, call it a twin thing, I don't know, but it seemed like when he was with me, we were definitely picking up more activity together than we were apart.
Yeah, I totally believe
And
that because of the
and he
twins that I've
doesn't
spoken to.
investigate. He doesn't investigate with me a lot, So I
Yeah.
mean, it's just far few in between that he comes and joins me on something. But yes, especially at the Wildwood Sanatorium, it was definitely more active when he was with me rather than if I was off by myself investigating. When he was with me,
Hmm.
it was just a little more crazier, So
I
yeah,
think there's just some kind of weird twin link there because I have a lot of twins in my family. I have 3 sets of twins in my family that are alive right now, and several
right,
other people that I know that have twins. And then I didn't know you had a twin until right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a twin. I got an older set of twins, and then I have twins myself, a boy and a girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, twins
that's
run my family
awesome.
as well. But see, the crazy,
Yeah,
it
but
was supposed to skip a generation. I'm a twin. It was supposed to skip
yeah.
me and go, but it didn't. It landed right in my lap. I ended up having twins.
I think that we have genetically just like pooped on all of that, all of those theories in, the newer age now, because there's like,
Right.
mental illnesses and stuff that are supposed to skip generations and they don't. They just go right to the next kid and you're like,
Of
that
course.
that wasn't true. The old, I guess old wives' tales or whatever, the myths about
Right.
stuff skipping generations. I think it's just us now as a people, if you compare us to the older um,
Right.
people that are probably passed away now, like our grandmas and grandpas and our great
Oh yeah.
grandfolks
I
and
mean,
stuff.
they had a different belief system compared to
Hmm.
ours today. The things they believed in, and you know, uh, I don't know. It just was totally different back then. I mean, totally different decade of individuals. But
Yeah.
the thing is these days we still carry a lot of the values from those days as well. Maybe not all of them, but some of them still continue throughout history. So
Yeah.
I wanted to post
yeah,
that up
Brian, I
there.
was out in Maryland last year. I didn't really get to investigate too much, but I was in Baltimore and I went by some cemetery downtown in Baltimore and went by and visited Edgar Allan Poe's grave.
Oh
And
my gosh, I'm
that
jealous.
Oh my! It was cool. The church that sits on the property is actually built over half of the graveyard.
Oh
Oh
wow.
So there's
wow.
catacombs. There's catacombs underneath this big old church, and you can
Hmm.
see some of them just like underneath the porch. You can look under there and see headstones underneath the porch of this property. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little graveyard in the middle of downtown Baltimore, Maryland. But the people there are fucking rude as fuck.
Are they
I
really?
remember I remember getting in town and having to go pee. I know COVID's going on, but we must have stopped by at least 10 different places, gas stations, restaurants, and nobody would let us use the bathroom.
Oh wow.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
really? I'll buy something. I'll buy a drink. I just need to go pee. And nobody would let us go pee.
Is it a really touristy like area that you were in, or
No, actually, it was kind of ghetto as fuck, to be honest with you.
was
My,
it? And
my
they wouldn't let
parents,
you use the bathroom?
no, nope,
I mean, I've been
nope.
places that are like that, but like,
Well, I even stopped by a fire station that was right down the road from the cemetery, because I went walking down the sidewalk because
hmm
me and the family were at the cemetery. I'm like, I gotta go. I can't wait no longer. So I walked down that little bit of road downtown. I went by a parking garage, asked the guy there. I went by the fire station, asked the fireman there. Nobody would let me come pee real quick. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. What y'all want me to? You guys want me to catch a charge peeing in public? You want me to get a public indecency charge because like, I got to pee so bad? But yeah,
sometimes
Yeah.
that
they just,
cemetery.
I don't think they have anything better to do, or they can notice an outsider that doesn't live there, and they just kind of like almost target you for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah,
And he
definitely.
says, I have an arrowhead from a hell of a haunted native site, one of my favorite places to hike, actually. That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
I have a bunch of
Oh,
arrowheads. I got the arrowheads at the Runestone State Park. We didn't tell you about that. There's also a Runestone Park with a Viking rune that's here
Oh wow,
in Oklahoma as
that's
well.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
They
Try
have
that over there.
Renaissance festivals there every year when there's not COVID.
But you guys definitely have to make sure to take some time off of whatever you're doing with your work schedule on those 3 days in August and
Yeah.
make some time to come hang out with everybody or show us some of your hot spots or whatever.
And you say 5th, 6th, and 7th?
5th, 6th, and 7th of August.
Okay.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to be
Say
available
hi
some
from
of
the
that
goat.
time. How are
Hi,
you?
Jeff. Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, you talking about Sleepy Hollow? That leads into the Salem. You can go up through Salem through that way, and then check out all the history up there.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of history out that way. I mean, between Boston, where's the Conjuring House? What was it? Rhode Island.
It's in Rhode Island.
Yeah. All them little places up there. There's a lot of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
not just paranormal, just a lot of history up there altogether. Those are some of the
I've heard a lot of stories about Rhode Island.
Yes,
because of the wars that were fought on I guess almost all of that property or all that land, like not just the Conjuring land, but all of the land around there too, and like neighbors supposedly that lived near that house had reported hauntings and like battle cries and like clinging of swords and like cannons and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's pretty insane. But I tell you, you had a birthday recently.
Yeah.
I know. And then I had a birthday a few weeks back too.
Right.
But I tell you, tell everybody something pretty cool is that and Tim was actually one of the only people who actually called me on my birthday. And it was pretty cool too because he said he just wanted to make it personal and talk for a minute, and I thought that was really cool, because most everybody just reaches out with a text or a message on Facebook or something like that, which is fine. It's cool. I appreciate that, but he take time out of his day to give me a call and say happy birthday and on a personal. It was pretty cool. And I appreciate it.
I try to be a little more personal. I mean, there's so many people that you come across in the paranormal field, but there's certain people that I, just am more attached to or closer to that I respect or, whatever. And I try to get a little more personal with certain people, just to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I like what you're doing. You do great work. I respect you, and, that's just who I am. And I just try to show love for everybody as much as I can,
It's so important to do that. It's almost a rarity at times that people actually do that, root for each other and pat each other on the back. I think it's super important.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that. I just want I took that personally. So it was. I appreciated it. So
he took it personally, and he was like, "I'm going to kick your butt." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I've told you before. Your podcast is one of my favorite podcasts. I got maybe a handful of them that I try to watch every week, and you're definitely up there with the top 5.
Thank you
I love
very much.
Podcast.
We're almost at a year. In March, we'll have been going a year, which I didn't really know if it would last a year or not. I was hoping it would, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a special episode that day. Or
that
month.
Yeah,
but I can't wait to get. I can't wait to get out and investigate with you guys. We've met.
Yeah.
Now we're doing a podcast thing. I interact with you guys on Facebook, but I want to investigate with you guys. We got to get together and do something.
Especially in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma is our territory,
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Great.
And we've been to that place.
And I love what you guys did with the little SUV for that lady.
The lady
with the kids. That was so wonderful, man. That just warmed my heart when I seen her reaction. Yes, it just put a big smile on my face that day and warmed my heart up, man. That was very special to watch.
Yeah, anytime we can do something for somebody like that really will appreciate it and needs it, it's we'll try our best. And it's people that really, it's us is not Terra Collective that we wanted to do something to to give back, and it's going to be, it's an annual thing we'll do at the end of every year. I don't know if it'll be a car next year. It could be a refrigerator. I don't really know, but whatever somebody needs, But
Right.
Well, you
you know,
don't have to do a giveaway. You can donate your time also, like on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and
oh,
like
yeah,
serve homeless people that don't have food to eat and stuff like
That's
that.
what me and my kids and the wife, we'll normally
Mm-hmm.
make some kind of soup and get some gloves and hats. And it's been tradition for, I don't know, probably 8, 9 years now. We always go out on Christmas Eve or later in the afternoon on Christmas Day in our downtown area here in Indianapolis, because there's a lot of homeless people
Mm-hmm.
down there. And we'll go
Yeah,
out, pass them out warm soup, give them gloves, hats, and
that is
some personal
awesome.
hygiene products and stuff like that. And my
Mm-hmm.
kids, being as young as they do, they've enjoyed it every year that we've been doing it, and they look forward to it and always remind us, "Hey, Dad, Mom, don't forget to go get some more gloves or get this. Make sure we got enough bowls for the soup," or so they really get
Yeah,
into it, enjoy it.
right.
I think it's important to teach your kids that stuff too, because I haven't so much
Yes,
with my son because he's got ADHD and we're dealing with like how to like getting resources for him right now. But when my daughter, she's 17, and several times, actually for the last 2 years, we've worked for a charity, and we worked every Saturday until last month they closed down.
I
And
remember
for
you
every
talking about that.
yeah, and then I actually took her our church, which we don't go to church every Sunday. I just don't. But I'd
Right,
like to. I
right.
just don't get to. But
I hear
our
you.
church had a homeless day room, and I took her there to learn how to make the food and bag lunches and stuff to give to those people to eat lunch every day, so they have somewhere to go to eat every day.
That's
And
awesome.
on
That's awesome.
when it's cold outside, like right now, they'd give out hot cocoa and like hot apple cider and stuff like that. I just wanted
Good.
her to be in that place to see that because she was kind of spoiled, and I just like felt it humbling her. And she told me afterwards, like it made her think, differently about stuff. So I think to do stuff with your kids, like the soup thing, is like really important to teach kids. We don't live in the
Yes.
same, world that like even when we were young, our parents were young. People
Right.
get stuff handed more freely to them nowadays, or
Mm.
just things aren't as hard as they used to be. And I feel like to put yourself in that situation, remember, it could be harder or it could be worse.
Right.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's cool to get back out into community, not just for what we do as paranormal investigators, but to give back, to help out, to like she mentioned, the charity, and us with our car giveaway, and with people doing what you're doing. We couldn't have done what we did with the vehicle if it wasn't for somebody backing us financially, and then
Of
and
course.
then his name is Kevin. He owns a company in Fort Smith, Arkansas, but he he stepped up and helped us because he believed in what we were trying to do. And
Right.
it's everybody, it's everybody that comes together to make those things happen. It's not just
Right.
it's us having an idea, yeah, but it's being able to have those people follow through with us.
I'm not
Right.
laughing at you,
It's
Jason.
it's a,
I'm
it's
laughing at the comment.
amazing. It's amazing what a few people good can do when they come together. You know what I'm saying? What you can accomplish,
Hmm.
man. And it's stories like what you guys did that I love to hear about. I love to hear about stuff like that. People giving back and looking out for the less fortunate, or just someone that needs a helping hand every now and then.
Right.
Hey,
Mm.
George. Hey, Liz. There's some new people on now. I had backed up on the comments. I wanted to we were having like a real talk there, and didn't want to like bombard the screen with lots of
All right.
comments.
Oh, you're good. What's he say? What's been your most memorable EVP? I'd gotta say I was at a jail one night, Ryan, and we were up in the ladies section, and in this ladies section of the jail, the male guards used to physically and sexually abuse the women inmates there. And it was me and one of my buddies up there. He had asked, um, "How do you feel about me and Tim being up in this area? Do you mind that we're here?" And at the moment, we didn't hear it, with our own voices, but upon evidence review, there's a woman that screams in a very angry manner saying, "Get out." Paused
Wow.
for a second, paused for a second, then said, "Now."
Oh
So
wow.
not only was it right there, but
Like,
she was intelligent enough. She paused, then said, "Now."
Oh
I
wow.
mean, to this day, when I first heard that, I mean, it curdled my blood just hearing that EVP. Even though I wasn't at the location, I was at home when I did the review. but that's still the creepiest EVP. Other than that, Madison Seminary, up in the topper area of the Madison Seminary, where they used to rape the women or uh, make them have abortions up there in that area. They would cut the babies out of them. We had a stage recorder up there one night, and we caught what sounded like a woman in an extreme amount of pain. She was screaming and yelling on the EVP we captured. Those are probably the two, ones that really stick with me. Other than that, we've had hellos, get out, growls, whatever. But those are probably the two most that stick with me, is those particular ones.
I bet you there was a lot of energy in that place too, where the women had to be forced to get an abortion. I can't imagine what that'd be like to take someone's child from them without their consent.
Yes. Yeah. I guess it was really bad back there at Madison Seminary back in those days. The orderlies or whatever was really just, that place was a nut house, I remember when Adam gave us a tour, we were up in that area, and there was a specific room they called the rape room. And you could see where the beds used to be chained down to the floor, and where they would tie the female patients up there in this one particular room. And it had a lock. The lock was, they had a deadbolt, or not a deadbolt, but a lock on the inside of the room for when they were in there, doing their thing, so no one else could come in and interrupt, and whoever they were, doing whatever to couldn't get out at the same time. That place
or escape.
Yeah, exactly. Where they couldn't.
So did they impregnate the women then, and then take the babies?
I don't remember. I'm thinking that's what happened, took place in here, but I don't remember the whole story. It's been a few years since I've been there. But it's definitely a lot of sick and crazy shit going on.
Yeah, because you would think, it seems like that would make sense. Like they impregnated them, and they probably took the babies, and I bet you they sold them.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
it's definitely a crazy location.
Oh, that's not crazy, man. Yeah, we had one. It's at the it's called the Fee House in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we had one there. We captured in the attic, just plain as day. It says go away, like somebody standing right next to you, just says go away, like real, real plain.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Rosie's heard some women screaming and stuff. A place we've investigated, and
actually, a broken ear or a broken bow. There was besides the stuff that got thrown at Jason and the other objects that were projected, or whatever you want to call it. There was a room there that has bars on the window. Like if you go and you stand in front of it, you can feel extreme cold temperature difference in that cell, and it's got pads on the wall, and you can automatically pick up some really unsettling energy from some guy. I don't remember his name, and I don't want to tell you too much because you might want to go through there and have your own experience. But you can automatically pick up some really unsettling, like I had to automatically was like, I gotta go smoke me a cigarette. I just want to kill somebody.
Right.
Whoever was in this cell wanted it out bad, and they didn't want to be in there, and they wanted to hurt somebody. They were angry, and I was like, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette and calm down for a minute, go outside. But yeah,
crazy.
That is the only place I've ever had anything thrown at me there. So
really,
yeah, really big piece of glass. Wow. So that was pretty cool. And then of course we witnessed other things being thrown too. So
yeah, right. I was telling him about the lighter, and there was something else I just don't remember. I feel like there was a third thing that happened where something ended up being moved or thrown or disappearing or something. I can't remember exactly, but St. Louis, Missouri, though, when we stayed in the hotel room, some weird stuff happened on the way back from that sleepless unrest.
Yeah, me and Kyle were going to St. Louis in I don't remember the date, but me and Kyle will be going to that Limp Mansion that's out there. He's renting one whole floor. He's renting one whole floor of the mansion, so we'll be going out there. think it's
Okay.
April 7th, April 9th, something like that. We'll be going out there to Limp Mansion out there.
I
I
think
want
if
to
we
go
had
there.
First time.
if we had more time when we were there, we would have stopped.
That was the place that I wanted to go. That was the
Yeah, because
place that I
that's
was
like
looking to go
it's
to.
like 30 minutes away from Alton, you know.
Hmm.
So we'll probably go by Alton and hang out with everybody there, and then go investigate that night over at the mansion and whatever. But I guess
Yeah,
they
that'd
got
be
some
cool.
big tunnels or something that go underneath that property where the Native Americans used to, be at or something. And I don't
I
know.
read several different articles about that
Yeah, it's
place.
got a lot of crazy history. Something about all the family committing suicide, shooting themselves or something. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
Mm.
I almost think that there used to be a guy that did seances there, like public advertisement of some guy that was kind of well known in that area that did some seances there too
could be.
recently, like maybe a couple years ago
All
too.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to check out where the Real Exorcist house is, that's pretty cool. We went by there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a buddy named Adam that lives out there, and he always talks about that place. So if I get a chance while I'm in town for those couple of days, I'll probably have to go check that out. It'd be neat.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the original place, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
really
definitely.
happened.
And I think I remember seeing you guys going by there. I think you guys did a live feed when you were out
Yeah.
there. I think I remember seeing that.
It was
We
kind of
were.
hard too.
It was
Yeah.
hard to really film and take pictures because there was kids outside playing in the yard, and then
Right.
you know Rosie's trying to get me to stop taking pictures
I
and
was
stuff.
griping at him. Well, there was
Oh
little
yeah,
girl. They were in the
yeah,
front yard with a hose drinking out of it in their bathing suits, and their mother had the front door open and could see through the glass. And I said, "Stop recording! You're going to get the police out here. They're going to think we're like
right.
some weird sickos recording their kids in the
Yeah,
front yard."
man. Yeah, that would have been good. That would have
Yeah,
been good.
I
That's
was
a
like,
bad
"Just take the
situation.
photo." Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
it just was
yeah,
like the wrong time. You know what I
it
mean?
was,
The wrong time.
Right.
yeah. It was. I tried to get what I could without having the kids and stuff in the pictures or whatever. But
Right.
we got a little bit of it, and it was cool, like seeing it and everything. And I'm sure they get like a million people going by there all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. For sure.
Um, But yeah, that's where it happened, and it was really cool to see the actual place.
Yeah. That's how it was at
Yeah.
the Atmeyville house up in New York. We went by there, and it was really cool. I
Yeah.
mean, we went by there at nighttime, so it was a little more slower and quiet that night. But it was really cool going by and checking out that place while I was up in New York. Neat place. And then we went to the back side of the property. There's I don't know, a creek on the backside or some kind of body of water on the backside of the property.
Hmm.
And we were able to go to the backside of the property on the other side of the water and sit and kind of gaze at the back of the house. I mean, we did some small EVP sessions back there, nothing major. So we couldn't get onto the property, but it was
Yeah.
cool to see the place in person anyway.
I
Right.
would like to see that place. It's a
Mhm.
neat looking.
It
The
is.
architecture
It
of it,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
For sure.
mean, just like a lot of those places sort of like that. You're talking about, like the Annabelle place, that house, or you look at the Blitzka axe murder place, or Lizzie
Yeah.
Borden's
Right.
house, this kind of thing.
Hmm.
I mean, those would be pretty cool.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
So, Bob,
Thanks for stopping in, man. Good to see you, brother.
Everyone said I heard that Madison Seminary is nuts.
Yeah, it is pretty active, man. It's a pretty active location.
It's a different mic on here. I heard
Thanks.
that my favorite types of EVPs are deliver when you hear it with your ears and the recordings catch it.
For sure.
yeah, it does happen.
Yes. Yep.
Actually, the place we were talking about booking here in Arkansas, the sanitarium. The last time we were there, you can hear growls like right next to you, but sometimes it wasn't picking up on the recorders. But
Right.
it's cool.
And
to
it's
hear
funny how
that,
it's funny how the that works. Where sometimes you can hear something with your own ears. Right there on location, but then when you go back and listen to it, it's not on a recorder at all. Or sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes, well, most of the time we hear it on a recorder, but we won't hear it with our own ears. It's crazy how that phenomenon works, man. How it works. It's nuts. But then when you do hear with your own ears, you're back replaying the recorders. Hey, did I catch it? Did I catch it? Is it on there?
I
You
know,
know,
and it stings if you didn't because you're like, no,
right,
I'm just crazy. People gonna
right.
just think I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's best though, like when that stuff happens, like to be in a location that doesn't have a lot of traffic and stuff.
Of course, of course.
I've seen stuff about the Villisca ex murder house. It's on the top like 10 or 15 places in America.
Yeah,
It's
I heard it was a
haunted.
pretty location. But Kyle's been there. He told me about it. He said it's a very small location. You can only fit
Mm-hmm. Just a
maybe
house.
Yeah.
four people in there at the most. I
Yeah.
don't think it has any power. I think he said it might have said they had an extension cord running from a barn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's still a place on my list. I'd like to go there and check it out. And we'll be out there in Iowa a couple times next year. We're going to the Malvern Manor and
Yeah.
Edinburgh
Mm.
Manor this year. Both locations will be, and possibly the Axe Murder House too. I don't know if I'm going with
Yeah.
Kyle on that one or not.
Yeah.
So,
Cherokee Indians. Yeah. I'm Cherokee Indian.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those places are bucket list locations. Like, we've gone to, when we went to Waverly Hills, that was at the top of my list.
yes,
I've been out to Alcatraz, but I've never actually been in it. I did a circle
me
around in the
too.
middle. But
Me too. I did a big tour of Alcatraz. I even got to spend about 10 minutes locked up in a solitary confinement. We
Oh
ended
wow,
up
that's
doing a
awesome.
tour. They gave us the
Mm.
option. Anybody want to spend some time in solitary? I was like,
yeah.
put me in. So yeah, I mean, talk about one of the darkest places I've ever been in. They got like two doors that they close behind you when they put you in the little solitary. So it's darker than dark in that little place, and
Oh,
I
wow.
can see how
Remember.
someone would go crazy being down there in solitary, being in all that darkness, man. That would drive any sane man crazy. But I'd love to get that's like top of my list as far as investigations, man. I'd love to be able to actually investigate it.
Yeah.
That would be a dream come true right there.
Yeah. That
Hello,
would be really
Linda.
cool. The last time I was in San Francisco, I was out there, and all the tours were sold out from when I was there, so I couldn't do the tour.
Right,
But I went outside. I went out in the boat around the bay, so we went around the whole prison, and
right.
and that was pretty cool to get just to see that. It was really
Yeah.
neat.
Don't tell nobody because it's federal property, but I actually grabbed a couple of rocks off the island and brought them home as souvenirs.
That's funny. I was actually
I
thinking
had
of
to.
somewhere I went kind of like that, and I took some.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
brought me a
those
couple of rocks
granite.
home. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but I'm not a t-shirt kind of guy. I like better souvenirs, and a rock from Alcatraz was cooler to me than a t-shirt. So I
Yeah.
grabbed me a couple of rocks off the island.
No, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You know,
Mm. That I love that whole area. I love San Francisco area. It's pretty nice.
yes, yeah, for
I
sure.
just like California, most of it,
Yeah,
a lot of it.
definitely,
Yep. San
definitely.
Diego's nice too.
Hmm.
San Diego's really nice.
And we
There's some haunted places there too.
spent some time in San Francisco, some time in Sacramento, and then we
Yeah.
drove over into Reno, and then we went up. We drove through North Tahoe one night on the way to Reno, went to Reno the next day and hung out for a little while, and then drove South Tahoe back towards Sacramento or something like that. But going up through north is, I guess, where the ski resorts are and stuff, and then the South Tahoe is more like
Mhm.
beach area and stuff like that. But it was nice and beautiful out there. But
I
San
need to go to
Francisco,
Tahoe.
yeah, I mean, we didn't spend a
Oh,
lot of time there. We stopped in South Tahoe and spent some time on the beach and hung out on the beach for a few hours
Mm.
before driving back into California. But it's definitely beautiful scenery. But the
Was
drive
it?
through North Tahoe that night, it was pouring down rain. There was the concrete barriers, road construction on both sides of us. The concrete. So we're driving one lane traffic, 2 o'clock in the morning, pour down rain, scary as hell. You can't tell which way the road's going, so you kind of had to pay attention to the GPS to see where the curves were at.
yeah.
So it's probably one of the scariest drives I've ever had in my life, and that was a bad night driving through North Tahoe.
Yeah, with the rain.
Yes, rain and
Yeah.
pouring down rain and the concrete barriers and all the construction work. Yeah, it was horrible. Because
Yeah.
you know how it is getting in between when they have both sides of you. You got those big concrete barriers. You feel
Yeah.
like
I hate
you're
those.
gonna
Yeah.
ping pong off the walls. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh shit.
Especially if you're not in a
Scary
small
situation.
car.
Yeah.
And it's pouring down rain, and we're like, oh my god, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But
I just
we got
like
to
to
go.
go into places like that just as much as anything paranormal. Just a nice forested, foresty, beachy area that's
For
out in
sure.
the open and out in nature. Just as enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It looks like you're drinking a beer. And that was the reason I really want to go there is my dad wanted to go there the last year he was alive, and we didn't make it there. So I really want to go to Lake Tahoe and be like, Dad, I'm here. Do you want to say anything? I came
Exactly.
here for you.
That's what's
So
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy that always wanted to visit the Grand Canyon, and he never got to make it. He died been quite some time, probably 15 years ago. So when he died, they cremated him. And my last,
Yeah.
no, not my last trip, but a couple of trips ago, a few years back. I mean, it was about a year and a half after he died. I took some of his ashes and actually spread them in the Grand Canyon for him.
That's
So
really
that was.
awesome.
But it's crazy because when I went through the airport to get on the plane, they checked my luggage and they found this little film capsule, and they're looking at it like, and he opens it up and he's looking at it and he's looking at me like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's my buddy. And the guy just gave me a crazy look like, what? It's your buddy? I'm like, yeah, it's my buddy. Oh, and then they like, oh, okay, we understand. Sorry, sir. Put it back in my little bag, and I went on my way. But so I'm taking him to the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
But
What's cool about the Grand Canyon? I stopped by there when I was driving out to Vegas and stuff for the first time, and it was like, man, it was like 40 degrees, and you wouldn't think that like in the desert. It's like it was really cold and
Right.
foggy.
Yeah.
And
I've been to the Grand Canyon where it's nice and warm, and I've been up there when there's a blizzard going.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm talking in January, being in Nevada, and we're on a tour bus going from Vegas over to the Grand Canyon. And I mean, there were several times we got stuck on the tour bus. And I remember specifically on the way back into Las Vegas, there was a Lamborghini in the middle of this blizzard going like 5 miles per hour down the highway on the way back from the Grand Canyon. It's the craziest thing ever to see someone in a Lamborghini going through a blizzard going 5 miles per hour down the highway. And we're in a big bus, and we're going faster than them. We're in a big old bus, and we're passing them up. I'm like, you idiot! Put the car up. Go back home. Put that car up. Don't be having that thing out in the snow.
I know, right?
Yeah, because I bet you they didn't want to scratch all of the paint up with the blizzard, the sand and stuff, because that sand will kill you. Have you ever been out in the open standing there in a snowstorm? Oh my gosh.
Not necessarily. Well, I mean, somewhat. We rode ATVs through, I think it's called the Valley of Fire out there. And yeah, that was a little crazy riding up and down those sand dunes, and we had to make sure we had masks and goggles on because all that stuff was just pinging you in the face. So can't say that I've been through a sandstorm, but I know what it's like to have the wind picking up just that little bit of sand driving through the desert or riding ATVs. But it was definitely a fun experience.
It really feels like needles. I'm not kidding you.
Yes,
and you'll see it the next day on your face too. It feels like needles penetrating your face, like you're getting a tattoo all over your face or something like that. That's what it feels like.
Definitely.
Crazy.
I think the next time we go to Vegas, I'm going to do the Area 51 tour and stuff. So I didn't do that.
That'd be the main reason I'd go.
Yeah, right. They drive you all the way out there.
Yeah, I was gonna go out there for that last Paracon they had, but it was kind of last minute, right before the holidays. I was like, nah, I'm gonna save my money for Christmas and birthdays, because between December and January, between the holidays and birthdays in January, it's very expensive for me.
I understand. We were trying to get they wanted us to invite us as vendors out there, but It's like it'd work a lot better if we were guests, but
Right.
it didn't work out this time, so maybe next time.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty more paracons, brother.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Hey Tim. Ryan said go check out Boobs Bubes Brewery in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania.
Good, Pennsylvania.
They have an area that's 40 feet underground. They call it the catacombs. I would love to go there. Had my
Yeah, that'd be
chair
definitely cool.
slide with me sitting in it and captured an EVP that said, "Don't sit in the chair." Oh my gosh.
All right.
Man, it's pretty cool.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Ryan goes to some pretty fascinating places himself out there in Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas. I've seen some pretty good captures of his over the years, for sure. Him and his
Pennsylvania,
wife.
I've always thought of Pennsylvania being like a creepy haunted place.
Gettysburg's real cool. I love Gettysburg. It's really cool. I've been by Eastern State Penitentiary and checked it out, but when we went by there, they wasn't open up for tours or anything because they were redoing the plumbing throughout the whole place.
Okay, now I get
So,
what he means. Joshua, he said, "Is there a state you found the most haunted or paranormal, or is that an impossible question?" That's funny.
so far, as far as haunted activity, I'd have to say New York so far for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kings Park, the Mount Misery, Lynchworth Village, and the Hinsdale House out there up in Hinsdale, New York. That's totally different creep factor because it's out there in the middle of nowhere,
Is it a Hinsdale House?
surrounded
Yeah.
by woods,
Yeah.
and it's just this little house out in the middle. I mean, you ain't got no cell phone reception. You don't got anything out there, and being stuck out there in the middle of the night, I mean, it's a whole different creep factor, man. And then with the woods, the acres of woods behind the property, yeah, it just gets you. I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel the
Every,
vibe of the lane, I guess.
Yeah.
everybody talks
The
about that
ground.
location. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Tim? How you doing, Tim?
It'd be cool if you could do a
Well,
campfire camp outside there on the
yeah, we
ground.
did. No, we had a campfire and we roasted hot dogs and stuff out there over
Yeah.
the fire and
That's
stuff.
cool.
It's a
That's what I want to
pretty
do.
night. Yeah, it was a fun night. But that was the other cool thing about it. The view of the stars was beautiful
Yeah.
up
Oh,
there in
yeah.
upstate New York. I've been to the city of New York and everything around it. The five boroughs out there. But that was my first time ever going to upstate New York,
Yeah.
and it's so much more different being upstate New York from being in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. The people are definitely more friendly. I'll tell you that much.
I would definitely really
And
go to upstate
and
New
they
York
know
then.
they actually drive better upstate than they do downstate. They actually know how to drive upstate. So that made a big difference too.
Have you
Yeah,
ever
I always would rather go out of the city.
All right.
have you ever canceled any places in Texas? Have you been through there doing some stuff?
I was supposed to go to Mineral Wells last year with a friend, but at the last moment it got canceled. So no, I've been to Texas many times, but never to investigate anything. Actually, Kyle has something set up in Texas. I don't know if it was that Haunted Hills house, whatever. I don't remember what it was that he said. And then he also wants to go by and check out Goat Man's Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to go by and check out that if we go to Texas. So
There's the Haunted
uh
Hill House, and then there's a hotel right next to it that's supposed to be really haunted that we didn't get to go into, that a lot of people investigate.
Yeah, the
shoot,
basin, right? You know what it's called?
Basin Hotel, maybe.
Yeah.
Tim, you have a great voice made for telling ghost stories, even though there's
I
no
love
audio
Linda. She
recordings.
cracks me up.
Thank you, Linda.
She said you should be a cartoon voice on a
All right.
creepy cartoon. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
the haunted Hill House was pretty cool.
Was it?
We had a good time there, and then we left there and ventured onto Goatman's Bridge. So that was pretty cool.
So what was that like? Was it as
Um,
creepy as everybody says it is out there at Goat Man's Bridge, or what?
it would be, I think, if it was at night.
Yeah,
Right.
you tell him. You answer that. Like daytime, lots of families taking photos in their nice
Right.
clothes, all back and forth.
Yeah,
Like we couldn't literally even take our own photo without
I
people
bet.
being in it.
Yeah,
I bet.
it's definitely a good photogenic place, but we just weren't able to stay there during nighttime because we had to make it back to Oklahoma. But we want to go back and do an investigation there for sure.
But yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool for sure. Just trying to catch it on the right night when there's not a bunch of teenage kids and everybody else running around, I
Yeah,
guess.
there was a lot of teenagers there too.
I bet. I bet.
Which I wouldn't be letting my teenager walk up there in the evening when it's getting dark by themselves at Goatman's Bridge. I'd be like, get your ass home. I
Right.
wouldn't let my kid walk down there at night. Yeah, just in case. You never know.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, there's trails on both sides of the river that go through the woods and stuff there, so it's kind of neat. We ventured off in there and looked around and took some pictures down through there, but mm, I mean, the legends and stuff around there just it's pretty cool to actually be able to check it out and be there,
Oh
But
yeah, I can imagine, brother.
but
Yeah, it
yeah, we
sounds
want
pretty
to
cool.
do we want to go back. So
So I
Say
said,
look,
let's go on August 21st
21st.
to the Goatman Bridge.
I
Something you
can't,
said
brother. I
about.
can't go in August. I'll be going up to Michigan for a 48-hour lockdown at Eloise right around that time. I won't be able to do it then, but we'll have to figure something else out.
Where's that? Okay. He said people are sketchy. I worry about people more than ghosts at almost all the locations we've been. No kidding. I've been doing a lot of digging and like
yeah,
watching a lot of videos and doing a lot of research about murders. And the more I
Mhm.
research it, the more I hear about murderers and like it's just crazy. You just think ghosts are nothing. They're like a flea.
Right.
They're like a flea compared
Exactly.
to like some living people that and the stuff that living people do to each other.
Yep. I agree.
It's
100%.
crazy. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, that's true. It'd be a, I don't know, it'd be a bad day if somebody tried to do something.
Right.
Yeah, because
Well, huh?
I said yeah because they're going to become a ghost.
Yep.
Oh
Not
my
me.
gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some of
Is
these
that
locations you got to go into, protecting yourself.
yeah.
I'm friends
That's
with Dahmer's nephew.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Does
Um
he or she have the same eating habits?
oh the same night, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any pet peeves on investigations? Like things that just irk you or that you do not like when people do it that have been done, something that's been
I
done
mean,
before.
everybody's got pet peeves. I like to do a lot of solo stuff a lot of times. But when I'm investigating with a big group, I mean, I guess it's just a matter of respect. I try to show respect to other investigators with another team or a group of people that might invite me somewhere. So I expect it in return. Hey, I know everybody gets that shock value here and there and gets a little scared, might get a little jumpy, make a noise, scream, whatever. But you know, a lot of people need to know how to conduct themselves on investigation. I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but a lot of people need to learn how to conduct themselves better on investigations. Some of them are just a little too much. It's like calm down. It wasn't that bad. Or maybe it's just because I've been doing it long enough to where it's hard to get a serious reaction out of me or a big jump scare or anything like that. And I look at some people and I'm like, really, come on now,
What
But
was it,
yeah,
a
I just
spider?
right, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's just more about being a little more respectful when you're out investigating and try to be, just cautious or be more aware of what's going on around you. That way, you're
Yeah,
not
being more aware
contaminating
for
the hell
sure.
out of my evidence or my video or audio.
That's the worst thing that I think that makes me, I guess, the most edgy and agitated is if I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to do an EVP session. I don't care where you go, but you got to be quiet because I'm recording. And you just
Right,
have people like
exactly,
talking as loud as they possibly can, having a full
of
conversation. And
course,
you're like, I just
yeah.
told you this. I just told you. And then you tell them again and you try to start over. And
Hmm.
you just like, just can't get it done.
I mean, I know we're all humans. We all have our different emotions and respond to things differently. I just wish some people would tone it down a little bit. We'll just leave it at that, Tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I
And
agree. It's
don't come in there cussing at ghosts either, because you know what? That makes you mad too.
Oh yeah, sure.
If
Yeah,
you come in there cussing at some ghosts and just acting like a jerk to them, I'm just gonna
exactly.
back off and let it happen. Whatever happens, I
Yeah,
ain't helping you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do that when you do it with a group in a space, and then you're doing an open investigation like that, and then
Mhm.
we run into that a lot down in Salina, Kansas. The last time we were there at the temple, um,
All right. Yeah, yeah.
people making noise and unnecessary stuff like that. It's just
Yeah,
it makes
I
it
heard it
difficult.
was. I heard it was a cool place as far as the people that showed up for,
Yeah,
everything. But I heard the investigation was kind of a little rough around the edges. But it sounded like all in all, like it was a pretty good time out there. It sounded like most things
it
went well
was.
anyway.
Yeah, and
I
we
think
did have a
Brian,
lot of strange things that happened.
I think Brian and Rochelle are actually going out there here in the next couple months.
Yeah,
They got a event out there at the
Yeah,
temple again.
yeah.
So
I think we kind of played a big
I
part
hooked them
in
up.
it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just messaged and asked them if they'd be interested in that place, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome." And then I gave the lady their contact info and gave them hers that does the
that's what's up.
bookings and stuff like that. And I'm extremely excited that they're actually getting in there and they're going to do an investigation there.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
their schedules book it up so quick. I mean, and that's the other half the battle with us is we're trying to set up investigations with both teams together, but we got to work everything around their
Right.
schedules because they got so much going
Yeah,
on. But
yeah,
we're gonna try to get both teams together at least a few times this year, and then we're talking about probably having a big old cookout or something. Get outside of the paranormal, just getting the
yeah,
teammates together to get to hang out some more. But the biggest one we're working on as a team, of course, we'll be out there at Broken Bow, but we're really trying to get into Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum
oh
Yeah.
my
and get everybody out
gosh,
there
that
because
would be like a dream.
none of us none of us have been there yet. So we're all trying to get
Mhm.
out there. We were out. Well, at first we had planned, me and Rochelle had planned to try to do it as a surprise birthday for Brian
Uh-huh.
for his birthday because that's one place he really wants to go to. But somehow Rochelle let the cat out of the bag and she messaged me one day and she's like, Tim, the plan's ruined. He knows about it. I'm like, how's he know? Well, he started talking about it and I kind of let it out. I was like, damn it, Rochelle. Um,
I can see her
but we're
doing
still gonna
that.
book it though. We're still gonna get in there this year and still go there,
Yeah.
but it won't be for
Hey,
a
Steve,
surprise birthday party like we wanted to.
Angela.
So
Well, if you can get into the temple with them at some point, or if y'all go back after they've been there, whatever, it's so massive that it doesn't
Yeah,
matter how many people are in there, really.
right.
it
Yeah, I'd
is
like to go out there.
huge.
I was actually invited to come out there this past time when everybody was there, but I felt like uh,
Yeah,
you know,
I
Yeah.
know.
sometimes
Why
you know,
you might not have
I
gone,
didn't want
yeah,
to cause no problems for anybody, so I just stayed home.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. We understand. I get it. And
But
I'll probably talk to
I'm
them.
glad that you guys had that event. It sounded like it was pretty cool though, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
it was fun times. And then I think I talked to Brian like 10 times after that about that location. He
Right,
was asking
I
about.
think it's just cool that it's
You
getting recognized because there weren't
for
very
sure.
know,
many bookings before we went there and
Right.
did that. And that was like one of my main goals personally, was to reach out to people. And that was why I was like, hey, Ryan, would y'all want to come out here? Because like this place is hot. It's got a lot of
Mhm.
evidence. I was like, you can talk to Mustafa. Obviously, he's been here and you know him and you're friends with him. And I was like, ask him about it. And I was like,
Yes.
I'll get you in contact with the lady that books the place, and she'd probably love to have y'all out here, because I was just wanting people to know about that place and like,
yeah.
to make it more well known, because it was
Well,
kind of more like a,
I started hearing about it from Stephen Woodward. He
Yeah.
used
yeah,
to
yeah,
message me all the time and tell me
yeah.
about the place. I'm like, man, yeah,
Hmm.
that sounds like a very
Yeah, if it wasn't
awesome
for him, I mean,
location
we
to go
wouldn't have
to.
booked that location for there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
sounds
he
like
had
it's a
already
pretty
been
cool
there.
location.
Yeah, it was an awesome place. Mustafa seemed like he had a great time.
Hmm.
He loved
Oh,
that activity.
Mustafa's gonna have a good time no matter where he goes or who he's with, man. His energy is just on another
Yeah,
level. You know what I'm saying? He's so
yeah.
much fun to
I
hang
love
out
his
with and bullshit
energy. I
around with.
like
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite
The
energies, I guess.
the first time I met him, we was in Alton, Illinois, at Mineral Springs Hotel, and we're doing a meet and greet for Brian, Rochelle, and Mustafa. But I'm trying to help take pictures of the other guests and stuff. And well, towards the end, we're taking pictures as whatever. And Mustafa comes up to me. He's like, "Come on, let's take a picture, T-Dog." And he's rubbing his big old rear end on me. Hey,
Yeah.
do you like my Puma? I get my Puma underwear on, T-Dog. I'm like, Mustafa, can we just take the picture, please? Come on, man. But
Yeah, he's a goofball, but he was fun. Like him.
yes, he is very much so. He's very fun to
And
be
he's a
around and
nice
hang out
person.
with.
He's like real
Yes,
nice.
yes, yeah,
Human
definitely for
person, yeah.
sure.
He's
Yep.
a very nice guy.
We don't have too much longer left, but I wanted to read this that Ryan had said. He said, you should check out the Glendale Hospital sometime. It's a completely abandoned tuberculosis hospital. I'm there, Ryan. Hook it up. No.
In Baltimore. Okay.
In Baltimore, they allow photographers to enter occasionally, but I've never heard of anyone investigating it. We have not been able to get in. Emailed Baltimore County and everything. It's massive, like Waverly massive. Oh my gosh, I want to go there.
That's cool.
Visit Glendale Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, Ryan, I know we've talked about linking up a couple times, brother. We need to get together and put something in. I'll be out your way a couple times this year. We'll have to try to figure out something, brother.
He knows a lot of good locations, so he could show you a lot of good places, it sounds
Exactly. And Pennsylvania is like a hub of paranormal, activity. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. And he's just in Maryland, so
Yeah.
I got some other buddies, Elite Paranormal, Robert Murphy, and all them that are right in that area too. Hey, Angela.
Hey, Steve. What? Deadwood.
Deadwood.
Mm-hmm.
I love Deadwood when I was there, man. That place is awesome.
All right.
This stuff I was supposed to just go stay in Deadwood just to stay there because
So cool.
my mother-in-law lived in one of the historical homes. Like they let people rent them out and live in them or whatever. And she lived in one of the historical homes that I don't remember who died there or who lived there or like cool. Who they didn't die there or they didn't live there, but someone that was famous had died there. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
Yeah, Wild Bill got shot, He got killed.
It was him, yeah. Shit, Wild Bill. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the back of the head. So,
that's nuts.
But, it's cool to go see that. Mount Rushmore, that's not too far.
Yeah, she lives right by there. She used to live right by there. She don't now.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice area. So, you want to tell everybody where they can follow you at and all that good stuff?
I do most of everything on social media, bub, or on Facebook. Really, I have a TikTok that I started a few months back, but most of my networking or people, I do it all through Facebook. I don't really mess with YouTube too much or anything else. And I just, like I said, a few months ago, I started TikTok. So most of the time, if you want to get in contact with me, you can hit me up on my personal page or the Paranormal Worldwide crew. Those are the two best ways, or just through Messenger or something, So that's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
And your team's page is?
The Paranormal Worldwide crew.
Okay.
That's our Facebook page, but we run it under the Riverband name. So.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like waiting for you to say, I guess.
Yeah,
and you didn't say it, so I was like,
wait. Brian's got the Riverband Paranormal group.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to be RPI group. So we kept our original name and just we're represented by Riverband Paranormal Indiana. So
awesome. Well, thank you for coming on tonight, and thank you for everybody for all your comments and participating and talking with us and questions.
Good chat with everyone. It's great to finally get on here and hang out with you guys and talk with you. Hope we can do it again soon. And I'll keep watching the shows. I'll tune in.
Write those dates down too. August.
Yeah, I'll tune in Sunday for your little St. Valentine's Day stuff. I'll have to remember to tune into that and check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna research that heavily, and I want to find out what cemetery those guys are buried in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And if we don't see you sometime, we'll probably see you in August in Broken Bow. So.
Yeah.
For sure,
Have a
brother.
good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
definitely. If worse comes to worse, yeah, definitely